Now look, with average mortgage holders needing to find at least $1,000 more a month just to keep the roof over their heads, and with our country deep in a recession on an individual basis, the government should be striving to get the economic fundamentals right. That means only spending on what's really necessary, keeping taxes as low as possible, and avoiding needless regulation to make it easier, not harder, for people to earn more. Instead, because Labor's much better at politics than government, there's all these gimmicks that are about pretending to make things better rather than really making things better. In Queensland, for instance, a desperate Labor government's using taxpayer funds to try and buy its way back into office. There's $1,000 towards everyone's power bill, even for multimillionaires. There's 50-cent fares on public transport. There's a plan for the nonsense of government-run petrol stations. And now there's a free lunch too, at least for school kids in the state system. Now, what's forgotten in all of this is that government can't spend a dollar it doesn't take from you, the taxpayer, either in taxes you pay today or taxes you'll pay tomorrow. And of course, every dollar borrowed has to be repaid. And you can be 100% sure that federal Labor, well, they'll start doing the same thing as their mates in Queensland come the new year when they have to go out and try and buy your vote to stay in power. And they will claim that they can afford to do it because of two accidental budget surpluses. But in the meantime, they're resorting to another range of tricks that are about striking a pose rather than making a difference. First, there was all that blaming of Coles and Woolies for price gouging. Then the Prime Minister was attacking shrinkflation, or charging the same price for a smaller product, in a direct lift of one of Joe Biden's stunts.
You will have seen it. A product comes out in new packaging. It's the same price as before, but the box feels a little bit lighter. It's called shrinkflation.
You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging you just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation.
Yesterday, it was all about cracking down on debit card charges. The next move, leaked out today, will be banning so-called unfair trading practices that are already not illegal, such as changing the price of something while in the middle of a purchase, or making it hard to cancel a subscription. Now, as a former insider, it's my job to explain to you all the tricks that politicians use to make you think they're addressing your concerns when they're not actually tackling the fundamentals. And this is all just tinkering around the edges in what's best described as performative politics. But that's Labor. Good on the announcement, shocking on the delivery. Bob Catter would have called it all hat and no cowboy. Eventually, voters realise they're being had. And a smart voter knows that a free lunch for the 9-year-old today will eventually have to be paid off by that same kid when they're a taxpayer in a decade's time. If only this government spent as much time sitting behind their desk as they do striking a pose, we would all be better off.